All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Ball Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and feature titan for today, I'm thrilled, honored. I mean, this introduction is not going to do any justice in my excitement, but I am so blessed to have my friend, Joseph McNeal, right here from Colorado Springs, Colorado, on the show today. Joseph, it's an honor, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here too.
Gosh, this is great. And again, I've had so many incredible conversations with this man over the years, and I'm thrilled to share his wealth of knowledge and his background and everything that makes him tick from a man to a business professional. So Joseph, if you're ready to rock and roll, man, let's just go through the series of questions and knock this out. So let's just start with the first one, which is telling everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, your journey into real estate and entrepreneurialism.
Awesome. So originally, I'm from Central Alabama, and I joined the Army right after high school at the age of 17. I grew up on a farm, and I guess the entrepreneurial approach, that seed was planted when I was a young child, I guess. My family had some rental properties, and then when I was about 16, I used to pay my buddies to pick peaches, and we'd load my pickup truck down, and I'd drive down to Florida and resell the peaches. So that was probably where the seed was planted, and I started, I guess, gaining some skill sets, or at least the mindset of an entrepreneur. But it was very austere conditions, and I joined the Army at 17 to kind of get out of those situations. And I joined the military to get my education paid for. And the United States Army taught me a lot. I met a lot of great people throughout the world, traveling the Middle East, operations in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, America, just a vast amount of experience just throughout the globe, and a lot of different skill sets.
Wow.
And I guess you were asking also how I got into real estate.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I joined the Army to be an aviation technician, which is much different.
Right.
My approach was to be an engineer and maybe become an astronaut, but life, as you get older and as time goes by, we adapt, we change, become more mature, smarter, wiser. So I ended up getting my undergrad in psychology, and my background's heavy in human performance and injury prevention. So I became a combatives instructor in the Army. So I was teaching soldiers how to clear rooms and fight in hand-to-hand combat. And I trained tens of thousands of soldiers, and a lot of great people from all walks of life. And one of my mentors and good friends, George Mascarenas, when I was a young soldier, he says, "Sergeant, you got your education going. You're doing all these great things." Because I planned on staying in the military. I had a great retirement. I was going to be retired at 37.
Wow.
He said, "If you had one more thing, you'd be a whole package." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Money." And
Wow.
I didn't even understand any of it back then, but he taught me how to do a residential real estate investment analysis, and it just changed my whole career.
Unreal.
So whenever I moved here from Germany, I started investing in real estate, and that's what changed my entire career. It got me out of the military and ongoing with all these other operations that I'm involved with.
And Joseph, when you're talking about that story, all the way from selling peaches to getting involved in the military, combatives instructor, and all of the thought process through education, you are so educated, it's not even funny. That's an understatement. I mean, anybody who's watching this, you can't see it on the podcast version, but anybody's watching, see all these degrees behind you. You're a wealth of knowledge. You're just me knowing you, just constantly learning and growing and educating yourself, but also applying that, not just through real estate, but so many other ventures that are in your life. But before we jump into onto the real estate side, because something that I know about you that is so unique, you're a weapon, you're a machine, my friend, when it comes down to it. And this is something that maybe not everybody knows about you, but it just fascinates me, the time that you spend, really training, and not just your mind, but also your body. Can you share a little bit about that in the military and into now, just your training and the physical nature of your life? I think that's really important for people to know a little bit more about that with you too.
Yeah, so as I had mentioned, my childhood was pretty rough. And then as you progress, going to combat deployments, and as you mentioned, I became a combatives instructor. But I realized that I was really passionate about fitness, human performance. And like we mentioned, I became a combatives instructor, but everything kind of come crashing down whenever I found out I had skin cancer. And since then, I've had well over 40 surgeries. I'm a chronic skin cancer patient. And so there's portions of my life where physically I'm compromised, but that gives me more time to focus on my, my mind, my spirit, and things of that nature. And I was in school. I worked and went to school from the age of 6 to 31. And even since 31, I'm 33 now, I've still gone to school. Yeah, my latest accomplishment is getting a certificate from Harvard. But
it's beautiful.
My background is more in line with human performance. And as I was getting out of the service, I actually started getting my PhD in sports management. But real estate's where it's at.
Yeah. And it's so true. And everybody in here is thinking, oh my gosh, this guy's incredible. And talking about the hardships of cancer and you being a true fighter, not just mentally, but physically and dealing with that, Joseph, it's incredible, man. And, to anybody out there who's thinking that they, their life is tough or they're going through difficulties, everybody is. And just know that you're not alone that way, but just appreciate what you have and who you are and where you're coming from, because so many people have it worse. And gosh, Joseph, I'm just glad, that you're around. Every single time I hear that you're getting surgery or something like that, I worry about it, and it's just one of those things where I know you're a fighter, you keep pushing forward and you just accomplished so much in your life and your career and will continue to for long, long periods of time, my friend. So let's talk about the real estate side. So getting involved with that and obviously, building your life and your career into real estate. Why Sellstate and why kind of take that upon yourself and really grow and build a team? What was the path like that through so far?
The path to that, whenever I got out of the service, I bought a property management franchise. And so that was my first, I guess, super setback, getting in business. It was a really rough year. When I got out of the service, I thought I was going to be on top of the world in no time. But as you mentioned, everyone's fighting an uphill battle. And over time, bounced around different brokerages. I really found my home in Sellstate. And I just became a producer, working marketing, growing my business. And then I scaled into becoming an employing broker and opening up my own firm. I just found my home here because I enjoy not only the people, but also the business model. And I have great people in my network and great people on my team here.
I love that. And again, coming from somebody like you, who's a true professional and not just, through real estate, but entrepreneurialism in general, doing your due diligence. I mean, that speaks volumes about, where you at and obviously the people you surround yourself with. So I know that you're growing the team and that's always the right people. And, before we went live, we discussed, it's, as you mentioned, it's about quality, not quantity. So I guess tell everybody a little bit about the growth of the team and how they can get a hold of you, that sort of thing. That'd be really important for everybody to hear and know.
Well, if anyone would like to know more or get a hold of me, they could email me at josephmcneal@realtor.com. Well, in any business, we all got to be recruiting, right? Wealth is created through networks of people, right? Amazon, Jeff Bezos built Amazon, but he has thousands upon thousands of people in his network. Not even taking consideration the technology and infrastructure, but wealth is created through networks. So it's really important that we're always recruiting, preferably, obviously, good people. That's what we need. And we're always looking for people that have the number one characteristic for any business owner, which is perseverance, to continue to put one foot in front of the other. So many agents follow the business. They're in the best industry in the world to help so many people. With the largest financial transaction of their lives, typically, you have unlimited potential, but a lot of agents follow the business, as you already know. So you got to get on the bus, get the bus going in the right direction, just like Jim Collins says in the book, Good to Great. And then you need to get the right people on the bus and in the right seat. And whenever you do that very efficiently, you can do great things with just a handful of people, because synergistically, we're way more than the sum of the parts.
Well said.
Trying to find good people, recruit, and it's not just recruiting agents. It's sometimes business partners in other ventures or vendors or contractors or whatever your business or life is involved with, you got to recruit and network and find good quality people.
Wow, true statement. Absolutely incredible that way, Joseph. And I think it's a good segue into the second question, which is diving a little bit deeper into the tactical items for business. People are really excited about this one, learning from the best and brightest minds in the real estate world. So, Joseph, you could look back at your career thus far, and I know there's so many different angles and pieces of advice that you could give. I mean, it's just almost endless amounts of pools of advice. But if you could look back and pick one or two things that you added to your business and implemented it that really moved the needle, that you saw growth, that there was big change that way, that you could advise anybody who's watching or listening, doesn't matter if they're new into the business or they're a seasoned pro, what's that look like for you? What advice would you want to give?
Well, as you already know, digital marketing is where it's at. However, just designing an integrated marketing campaign around your database, that's what took me from pretty much 0 to 100. But you had to put up the upfront work. And some people make marketing complicated, because it can be, and
Sure.
digital marketing can be complicated too. But if you design an entire marketing campaign in line with digital marketing, personal selling. So personal selling one-on-one, I mean, that's where you have your highest conversion rate. That's why we always talk about lead generation to an appointment, because
Well said.
whenever we talk to people and we can provide value from the hip and we're professional, that's where we have our highest conversion rates. But digital marketing, direct mail, need to be mailing people. Instead of reading newspapers, again, talking about digital marketing, maybe start a blog, right?
Yeah.
But public relations, get involved with the community, have selfless service, right? So yeah, all the pillars of maybe a sales promotion, if you can do that and swing that. But if you have a marketing campaign that's designed and implemented and leaving different impressions upon the same people in different avenues, it's going to grow your brand. And then just like in fitness, you have the SAID principle, specific adaptations to impose demands. The same thing for your business. If you actually sit down, consolidate and grow your database, and then form an integrated marketing campaign around that database where they're getting multiple touches throughout the year, you'll become branded and your business will specifically adapt to those demands.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So the IMC, integrated marketing campaign or communications, implemented correctly, you can go far with that. I mean, and it's no big secret. You don't have to go to UCCS and get your MBA in marketing like I did. But that's what I studied, and that was like the gold nugget, and it really, really increased the velocity of my business. Is just understanding some basic principles of marketing.
Well, but Joseph, I love the fact that not only do you learn everything that's available and relevant, but you apply, and that action is really that forward motion. And I love the fact that whether you had mentioned it's physical or digital, it comes down to the people. And that's the truth. It's the relationships that are forged and having the intimate conversations. And I mean, so many professionals are focused on lead count or lead quality, but it's ultimately converting those leads, right? Warm, cold, whatever in between. And then looking at it from a standpoint to have a real one-on-one conversation with a person. Absolutely. And, buyer, seller, whatever stage in their life, and then ultimately connecting them with them in a meaningful way, showing value and knowledge, as you stated, and changing lives in a positive way, making an impact. It's not just a transaction. And I know you live, eat, sleep, and breathe that, which is absolutely incredible that way, Joseph. So I know you are a constant learner, and I think that, what is it? The leaders or learners, or earners or learners. There's so many other things out of those, but I guess this is kind of a different topic off the cuff that way, but because I know you're constantly educating yourself. So you had mentioned Good to Great as a book, but any books, podcasts, anything, recommendations that way for other entrepreneurs or real estate professionals? Anything just that pops out to you?
Well, I must say that my favorite author is Brian Tracy.
Okay.
I think he's one of my favorite books is $1 Million Habits, but he's got one called Eat the Frog, and a lot of great books. Brian Tracy, you can't go wrong with his. I don't believe.
Love it.
Grant Cardone, the 10X.
Sure.
I like that stuff too. I read a little bit of Gary Vaynerchuk's. He's got that marketing book, Punch Out or something, Jab, Punch, Crawl.
Yeah, it's like jab, right hook. I think something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
absolutely. I think Brian Tracy, Tom Ferry. I mean, there's so many great minds out there, but
Right.
you can really expedite your career by
Mm,
getting the good information, and as you already mentioned, implementing it.
mhm,
Because knowledge isn't power. A lot of people think knowledge is power, but it's knowledge plus action is what's power. And it can also equate to profits if you want to speak specifically business.
love it.
Um, eh, yeah, so you got to implement what you learn. But
Mm.
I'd have to say Brian Tracy's at the top. I know I keep pushing him up, but like
No,
he's my favorite author. Yeah, I've
yeah.
read so many of his books, and they're just phenomenal, just
Mm.
great books. But there's also the Savers. What is it? Morning something.
Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure many people have said that. Uh, there's just a bunch. There's a
Mm.
bunch.
But I love it. And that's what I appreciate about you, amongst so many other things, Joseph, is you're always learning, you're always growing. And then again, you're applying that knowledge. And I guess another off the cuff question, but I can do this with you because I know that you can really push it back out, to everybody out there. But I think so many people get overwhelmed with, especially in this day and age, with all the availability of knowledge and tools and research.
Yeah.
Is there any recommendations on your part when you're learning, you're getting a degree, you're reading a book or listening to a podcast? Do you have any ability or something you could share that you personally do, that once you learn something, how you get yourself to actually apply it and commit? Because your consistency is incredible. I mean, that blows me away in and of itself. So any advice to anybody out there who's actually wanting to learn, but then also apply, which is very important?
Yeah. There's more content out there than we could ever consume, and it's difficult because I tell a lot of my closest friends that I could sit in front of my computer probably for 2 years straight and still not get it all done. There's just like there's so much, there really is.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to perseverance, prioritizing your task, focus, be biased to
Mm.
ROTI, your return on time invested.
Wow.
A lot of people think about ROI, cash on cash, but your time is your most valuable asset.
Hmm.
It's not all about money.
Yeah.
Um, so be biased. What's going to give me the highest return on my time invested? Does this conversation pay well?
Mhm.
If you hang out with brilliant minds, then maybe you should invest your time there because those conversations pay well. Get into those networks,
Hmm.
talk to the right people. But whenever it comes to prioritizing and implementing, I struggle a lot with that because
Mhm.
there's more action items than you know what to do with. But when it
Sure.
comes down to it, you could really focus on automating and delegating as much as possible as well.
Okay. Okay. And I love that aspect of the looking at it from a priority standpoint. The time is the number one commodity, but the automation, prioritization, and leverage points. I think that you as a brilliant mind, you understand that you're a true business professional, entrepreneur, and investor, real estate professional. Um, for anybody out there, any thought processes on for leverage points or anything along those lines, delegation, any advice that way?
Yeah. Well, as always, we're trying to recruit good people, and
Sure.
if you can find good people, I mean, they're worth gold. I mean, it's just like in the investment community. If you find a good property manager, which we have a great one here, by the way, Colette Reynolds, um,
Love it.
that someone like that, if you find a good one, it reduces your vacancy costs, reduces your maintenance costs.
Mm.
If you get good people in on your team, as mentioned, it synergistically, you're more than the sum of the parts.
Mm.
So, but that's kind of the bottleneck right there. You can leverage people, but the bottleneck is getting the right people on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be that either way, you all got to have a similar goal. Um, but yeah, you have to find other people to leverage and increase your network,
Mm.
improve and increase your network. That's where it's at. That's how you can accomplish big things in a short amount of time.
Gosh, Joseph. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg for your knowledge. I mean, we're just barely tapping into this man right here. It just blows my mind. I don't want to cut it short, but at the same time, Joseph, I want to respect your time as well. But anything else that comes to your mind, advice, that thought process, anything you want to share before we wrap this up?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things, another gold nugget that I learned is that, and I've mentioned this to you before, is that
Sure.
retention is cheaper than acquisition.
Mm.
Like it is so important to take care of people, right? If you provide substantial value and you take care of someone and you retain them, that's where another gold mine is at. Retention is cheaper than acquisition. And whenever I say retention, you can retain a client, maybe retain a buyer that ends up later on being a seller, i.e. repeat business, or you take such good care of them, provide so much value to their lives that they refer you to their friends and family. So then you get not only repeat business, but referrals. Wow. And then of course, if you scale your business into other areas, I know in the introduction you mentioned that I'd scaled into like financial planning and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You have related business sales. So referrals, repeat business, related business sales. It all goes back to retention is cheaper than acquisition. So if you get a good customer and you progress them to a client, you take very good care of them. That's another gold nugget. I mean, I got a bunch of them when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
There's a lot, you know, and perception is your superpower. My childhood was pretty austere, and whenever I say that, I'm going to look at it as fortunately or unfortunately. It's really just how you perceive it. Sure. But whenever it comes to a lot of the setbacks and the conditions of being in the military, combat deployments, working and going to school, and as you mentioned, martial arts, traveling to Thailand and living in the jungle and training all the time and getting beat up, beating yourself up. I just look at it, it just goes back to my childhood. Whenever bad things happen to you, life's happening for you, you know, it's happening for you. Wow. Not to you, not against you, it's happening for you. And so you just got to upgrade your process, you know, adapt and overcome. And remember, your perception's your superpower. It's really the way you look at things. Wow. And I can sit here and progress. Something I've been mentioning is that, I hate to say it, a lot of people are poor. Sure. But it ain't got nothing to do with money. Money is a symptom, and it's because they got poor work ethic, poor characteristics, poor perceptions, right? You know, poor perseverance, poor character. A lot of that goes in line with being poor in other areas of your life. So you always need to, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you always got to be working on your character, constantly becoming a better person. A bigger person, a person that can solve more problems or more complicated problems. Wow. The list goes on. The list goes on. I could just start running through all kinds of stuff. But yeah.
Now, Joseph, I mean, when you mention all those things, I mean, it's true nature into a practitioner. You've walked the talk. You've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt several times. And what I love about you is you really push that inspiration and knowledge on everybody who's in your life. And, you know, I'm very fortunate to have you, consider you a friend and have you in my life. And anybody out there who, if this is the first time you're seeing or hearing this man, you're welcome. I want to share him with the world, and everybody who already knows him loves, respects. I mean, there's a reason why you do what you do and how you do it, Joseph. But a true statement into that is, at the end of the day, your net worth equals your network. And again, I'm just glad to have you a part of my network. And Joseph, it's an honor, man. It's just great.
Hey man, I'm so grateful to have you in my network too. I've learned so many gold nuggets from you as well. It's just, you're amazing, man. You're amazing. All this stuff that you're doing, it's absolutely amazing. The valuable content you put out to us real estate professionals, and the business training that you're giving out for free by bringing in people like myself and others who are even way smarter than me, that have all these different tools. Like, what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm great. I'm so glad to call you a friend as well.
Hey, Joseph, the feeling's mutual. And I just want to let everybody know, please reach out to this man, follow him on social media, engage with him on Facebook page directly. And again, email him. If you have any questions, send him a DM. Hopefully I'm not throwing you under the bus that way, Joseph. Your DMs might fill up pretty quick, but if anything stuck out to you, please, I cannot encourage you high enough to just get involved. If you're looking to join the team or make any changes, or just learn from a great, true professional, he's the man right here. There's no doubt. Joseph, I need to officially dub you a real estate titan. So that is yours. That is a badge of honor. That is yours forever, my friend. No one can take it away. No trophies, no plaques, but it's in your heart anyway. So, but Joseph, it was an honor, my friend. This was a blast.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you so much.
This is awesome. Everybody, thank you as always so much as well for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like what we're doing for Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do at this point. I do have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lion Bolt Media. If you are a real estate professional, you're looking to grow and scale your business on a digital end, really looking at it for content creation, ultimately lead generation and conversion to more transactions, they have a free mini course. If you go to lionboltmedia.com and click on the tab free mini course, 55-minute course, really goes in deep details how you grow and scale your business. So check that out for sure. We are live here every Tuesday afternoon with a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Joseph.